this work. Now, I want to start by acknowledging all of you who have been around here from about an hour ago. Some of you have been consistently on Mercy Labbing. You are new. It's a pleasure to have you. Mercy. I want to take this opportunity to welcome all the doctors and the professors on the call as well. Ladies and gentlemen, please take a pen and a paper, if you can, please. Take a pen and take a paper, because I'm going to be sharing some things which, if you write them down, it will help significantly. The amount of energy it takes to be poor is the same amount of energy it takes to be wealthy. And please, later on, you'll come to see that wealth is not talking about money per se. The energy it takes a person to act and behave in a way that will eventually make the person poor. That energy, even though the person doesn't calculate it, even though the person doesn't know. So, for example, the person is sleeping, watching Netflix, and the person doesn't know or believe that he's exerting energy in watching Netflix. So as far as the person is concerned, there is no energy. But there is a lot of energy involved in that person sleeping or watching Netflix or doing anything that will eventually lead him to be poor. Poor in the mind, poor in the pocket, poor in the food, poor in relationships. So poor is not just money. The energy it takes to be that poor, ladies and gentlemen, surprisingly enough, according to the scientific energy of the biology of poverty, it is the same energy it takes another person to be wealthy. It's the same energy. And so when a person becomes wealthy, and again, not in terms of income, that person has put in an energy of an equal amount, like the person who is now begging. And a person who is begging for food, begging for shelter, begging for money, that person has now become poor. Now, it's different from a person who is broke, who had money before, but is financially discombobulated at this time. So that is the first thing we want to know. We are the product of our energy. We are the product of our energy. The energy you exert. Right now, as I'm talking, some of us will be energized. And when we leave here, we will not be energized because the energy that is coming in from when we leave here changes our mental equilibrium. So that is the first thing. People create their own reality. The same energy it takes to be poor is the same energy it takes to be wealthy. Wealth includes family. Wealth includes values. Wealth, it includes health. And so when we talk about wealth, it includes integrity, loyalty, and several other things. It's not just about money. In fact, wealth is bigger. Money is the last thing on the pyramid of wealth. And a lot of people know. So now, let's discuss the first aspect of wealth, which is health. Health. And then after that, we will discuss the second aspect, which is knowledge. And then we'll talk briefly about the last on the pyramid of wealth. Okay. So I'm going to go through this very quickly for a certain, because I want to hone on the last part, okay, which for me is critical. Growth comes by virtue of you growing. So you can see that growth is a process. A plant cannot grow without going through the process of watering and fertilizing. The same way a baby cannot grow without continuous feeding that person with the food he needs to eat, the physical growth, with the books he needs to read, the mental growth, okay, and several other aspects of growth. One of the major aspects of growth is health. A lot of people are growing physically, but they are not growing health-wise. How do we know that? So many people are sick before they get to know that. In fact, research shows that the rate of sickness now has escalated. You remember those days when people used to die very, very late. By the time you hear the obituary of a person, that person has grown past 70 years. But now what's happening? 24, 28, 35, 40, 45, 60, okay? Few, okay? Many people are now dying younger than ever before because our health continues to deteriorate. Why is that so? There is a constant use of technology, and that is depleting the human cellular walls every day. For example, the mobile phone you are using is producing 41 notches of radioactive isotopes into your brain. That is why research is saying that if you constantly stay on your mobile phone, bound into your ear for more than 3 hours, you are already on the path of cancer. By the next 20 years of your life, you've developed cancer. In fact, the World Health Organization has predicted that by the year 2038, many children will have brain tumor or brain cancer because of many gadgets, the iPad, and the several other things. Already, people have microwave. The microwave you use in the house produces radiation onto the food. The air condition is producing radiation. Human beings are dying by virtue of increasing our level of, technology. And so many people are now weakening their immune system. And so when there is a problem, okay, it begins to now actually kill faster. And then eventually we go to the hospital. We go and take more medications, which again are chemicalized. Right now, medicines over time, okay, destroys the human cellular wall. It's not immediate, it is over time. Please listen to Professor Peter Gretjan very quickly on the dangers of medicine in 19 seconds.
My name is Peter Gretjan. I'm a director of the Nordic Cochrane Center in Copenhagen.
Let me be sure that we are on track. Okay.
I'm professor of research design and analysis at the University of Copenhagen. 2 years ago, I found out that our prescription drugs are the third leading cause of death after heart disease and cancer. Our drugs kill around 200,000 people in America every year.
America is said to be the fastest growing country in the world, and 200,000 people already are dying of medications. It's not just the medications, okay? There are several other things. 35% of adults are stressed. In fact, on Monday morning, the heart attack rate rises by 35%. 39% of adults are overweight. And this stress and overweight lead to the top 7 major killer diseases in the world, including hypertension, heart attack, cancer, and diabetes. Health has become the major health situation for the world. In fact, as we speak, with the advent of COVID-19, okay, leading to the Cordilla virus and several other viruses that are popping, the world is becoming worried. So we need to protect our health. Sometimes when we go to the hospital, much of the dangers of the things we use at a hospital, like chemotherapy, they escalate in the problem. Let's look at the new revelation.
For years, we've been warning about the dangers of chemotherapy and how the #1 side effect of chemo is more cancer. Now that is confirmed in yet another astonishing study out of the Albert Einstein College of Medicine of Yeshiva University. The study found that chemotherapy causes cancer cells to spread throughout the body, where it causes more cancer tumors that are very often fatal.
So chemotherapy, see, one of the dangers of chemotherapy is this. Chemotherapy stops the cancer cells, stops the normal cells to actually produce. It destroys the normal cells. That's the first thing. And then the second, it multiplies the cancer cells. So the cancer cell is multiplying and the normal cells are dying. And that is why over time, the person develops other complications. So we need a way, and the way is already inside the body. You see, God has put something in the body known as glutathione. Glutathione is a powerful molecule inside every cell in the body. The more you have it, the more you live longer. Glutathione allows a person to have mental energy, physical energy, sexual energy. It strengthens the immune system so much that with higher levels of glutathione molecules, the body can fight 74 diseases. glutathione is so powerful that it has over, okay, and I want to show you that here, over 149,000 published peer-reviewed articles. According to the National Library of Medicine and the Institute of Health database, as of 2020, last year, February, there are 149,000 published articles. That shows that the diseases you see on your screen are as a result of the low level of glutathione. So it means that if a person has heart attack or cancer or asthma or migraine, okay, or hepatitis A and B or HIV or skin disorders or rheumatology disease, if the person has any of the 74 major diseases, what that person needs to do is to raise the glutathione, because it means that the glutathione level is low. So when you raise it, these diseases over time will begin to what? Will begin to clear from the body. Because the glutathione level has the potential of doing those incredible things. But the problem is that even though we have the glutathione level in the body, from age 20, we lose it. From the age of 20, we lose the molecular glutathione levels every year by about 1.5%. That is why you observe that when a person is growing, his ability to fight diseases go down. Why is the glutathione level going down? Because of aging, because of drugs, because of medications, because of bad food, pollution. And now there are 74 diseases, medical conditions, which we are getting as a result of this low level of glutathione. So we need a way to raise it. Professor Nagasawa, with several degrees, he has over 100 articles published to his name, together with several other doctors, thousands and thousands of doctors, decided to look into plants. Because plants live longer than human beings, they decided to look into plants so that we will find a way by which plants can live that long. In fact, some plants can live like 1,000 years. There must be a reason. And so they created this ribosome. Ribose plant and cysteine plant were combined together to create a ribosome. It's a catalyst, it's not a drug. Its job is to raise the molecular structures, allow your body to produce its own molecular defenses. Remember, I told you that the glutathione is falling. Ribosome comes in to make it rise. Ribosome is so powerful that it took 25 years to make. It's been patented. And currently, it's the only thing that can raise the glutathione level by 300%, more than the next best alternative. There are articles that FDA in US, Canada, Australia, Ghana, Nigeria have endorsed it. This is some of the FDA endorsement. There are articles and there are patents. Ribosome has been patented 38 times. There are several people across the world, several people in government who have been using the ribosome. Some of them will be on your screen, okay? They're all of them, the president, the former president, several ministers, several members of parliament have all been using the ribosome and have benefited from it. There are several people who had different health challenges, from leg problems, arthritis, from stroke, from skin disorders, okay? People with chronic foot ulcer as a result of sickle cell problem, people with sugar level problem, people with diseases, venereal diseases, people with brain tumor. Okay, they raise their glutathione level as they took the ribosome. So the ribosome acts like a catalyst or a precursor. When they take it, the ribosome produces the glutathione in them. And then their body will now fight the health challenges by themselves. Okay. People with several age problems. These are people in Ghana, some in Nigeria, some in the US, some in Canada, several places in Malaysia. Okay, all of them have had solutions. People who are fat, pot belly. They are given a special ribosome called Metaswitch. It's deliberately designed to flatten the pot belly and the fat in accumulated places. Several people who were 157 kilograms have dwindled their fat to 119 kilograms by using some of it. People with pot belly, several people have benefited. In fact, many people have benefited from the ribosome. It takes a period of about 1 month to 9 months for a person to see full benefit. It differs from person to person. A person who is on other drugs can use a ribosome. There's no problem. The person doesn't have to stop taking the drug. In fact, use it in conjunction with your normal drug. There are no negative side effects. and there are no overdose effects. But a person who is on the active stage of chemotherapy should not use the ribosome. In fact, many people have benefited from this. So, I'm not going to be interested in showing you people on this call who have rather used the ribosome and have benefited from it. But let me show you a few who have benefited from that.
Hi, my name is Rita, and I have lost 16 pounds in the last 12 weeks. I went from a size 12 to a size 4.
My name is Vicki, and in the 12 weeks that I have been on the MetaSwitch program, I've lost 28 pounds and have gone from a size 16 down to a size 10.
In 12 weeks, I've lost 31 pounds. I started as a size 14 and ended on a size 8.
So, I've been on MetaSwitch for 12 weeks and I lost 21.5 pounds. I've gone from a 36 to a 33-inch waist.
I started at a size 14 when I started the program. And
so a lot of people, I'm not going to be showing everybody, several people. Okay? Now, I want to rather throw it to those who are here, who have used the ribosome personally and have benefited themselves. Okay? Is there anybody here who has used it, can raise a hand and can share a story with us? Now, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, this is not going to be the ultimate reason why I'm here, because ribosome works already. Ribosome works. I gave it to my mother. She had diabetes for 16 years. Okay. She's had that problem for 16 years. I used to give her metformin and several other health medications. My colleague doctor in Sarcoma or Popolampo, okay, told me that it's going to be very tough. One day, I told my mother when I got to know the ribosome that she should try it. I gave her overdose. 68 days. The doctor calls me and tells me that the diabetes is not detectable after a little over 2 months. My father, who had piles and hypertension, started taking it as a result. The problem went after 93 days. All this while I wasn't taking the ribosome. I decided to use it myself. I've had a problem with insomnia for 13 years. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep beyond 3 hours. I've been learning by heart, and my eyes are no longer willing to sleep. I was stressed. The doctor told me I would die seven years before my time. But I had to live with it because I didn't know about ribosome. But when I saw the change in my mom and dad, I decided to try the ribosome anyway. After all, it has no negative side effects. So why not try? And I did. 2 days, I used the ribosome. My insomnia was gone. I went back to the UK to see my doctor in Coventry. And he was very surprised. I had to give him some of the ribosome. There are several of you here on this call who have used the ribosome. Anybody can raise a hand. Share your story with us so that we will see that I'm not the only one who has been using it. Is there anybody who can raise a hand and quickly share one story with us? Okay. Let me go to Bertha. Bertha, please go ahead.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening, Bertha.
My name is Bertha. Years back, that's 2018, in December, I was having issues with heartbeat. I didn't tell anybody. It was only my mom who knows about it. I was suffering from that for over 2 years because I used to work with a filling station. So before I can sleep better, in the evening, I have to mix raw egg with milk before I can sleep in the evening. So 2018, December, a friend of mine invited me to a seminar. That's what he told me. There's a seminar going on and I would like you to participate. I said, okay. I'm the type that I'm very curious. I always want to know more. So when he invited me, I didn't shake my head. So I attended. Everything that went on there was really good. I loved everything that went on there. So I told myself, I have to get this product and use it myself so that I can tell others to also use it. I was having issues with money, so I told him that definitely I will get this. So January 2019, I got myself a pack and I tried it. The first week, I didn't mix my usual concoction. So mom asked, Hey, Ajwa. That's how they call me at home. Ajwa. As a now watching you, no man I are fra and then they know who's our friend. So I told her that, oh, there's this product that I'm using. That's why you've not seen me mix my usual concoction. And mom was also having issues with her menstrual cycle. When she have it this month, it will take her like 2 months before the next one will come. So I told her, since I've seen changes in me, not mixing my usual concoction, meaning it will also help her with her problem. So I gave it to her for her to try it. The next day, she had her menses. The following month too, it came, usual flow, no breakages. And I was like, wow, this is really good. So from then to now, she's still on the Ribosyn and I'm still on the Ribosyn. I've not changed it. Wow. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, Bertha, for your wonderful sharing of testimony. I know you have several other people who have benefited from this, and you share some of them with us in the course of time. So thank you. We appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, there are several people who have benefited from it. Like I've already said, this is something that is already working. The president has been using it. I have personally given it to 14 ministers of state. Several people are using the Ribosyn. Go get it, use it. And once you get to know it, don't ever stop using it, because according to research, okay, from NLHI research and from the repertoire database that I showed you, okay, PubMed.org, once a person raises his glutathione level consistently, the optimum level, you can live past 100 years and still be strong. You can live past 100 years and still be strong. So it's something that every single person should take it. Okay, it's not just going to help you fight your own health problem. You're going to be living stronger. You don't need to be sick to even take it. In fact, you're already sick. According to Abraham Lincoln, you die at 25. Just that you are not buried yet until you're 75. So we all need it. All right. Now, the second aspect of our discussion is that of the special learning. You see, Ribosyn is so good, but this organization is looking for people who will help spread the message by first learning. Everybody can help spread a message about a Ribosyn, but first the person has to learn. The person has to learn how it works. See, ladies and gentlemen, there is no way you can become a surgeon if you have not learned surgery. There is no way you can become an architect if you have not learned architecture. There is no way you can stand in a court and defend if you have not learned, law. There is no way you can actually, prepare accounts and defend it and make accounting policies if you have not done studious learning of such a knowledge. And so why is it that when everything we want to do, we try and learn, but when it comes to other ways of building projects and businesses, people don't like to learn? So this organization wants partnership. They pay good income, but income is not even the important thing. The income, you make it anyway. But the most important thing is looking for people who are learners. Once you are able to learn, you can convey the knowledge to another person. The focus is not about selling the Ribosyn. That is not the focus. And those who make Ribosyn their selling point, over time, they get overwhelmed. The focus is by learning some special knowledge about this whole Ribosyn and other things, and then transferring that knowledge to other people. I'll come to the project. But I want to emphasize on this learning capacity, because a lot of people, I won't promise you, a lot of people think that when they come and join this organization, they will make income all of a sudden. It won't happen. This is a fact. It requires that you develop yourself, your mind, and acquire enough knowledge. Knowledge is very important. Anybody who ignores knowledge dies. Ladies and gentlemen, please write this down. Okay. Earlier on, I said we should take a pen and paper. Money is a slave to value creation. Money on its own is nothing. In fact, money is useless. Money dislikes those who look for it. Money run away from those who look for it. Money hates those who look for it. That is why most employees are broke, because they are always expecting money at the end of the month. You see, this is a law. This is a principle. There are rules of wealth and there are rules of income. But when a person doesn't know, the person always keep going and coming, and it's not working. It's not working, and the person will not understand because the person is not following the rules. The rules of wealth says that money is the last thing to look for. You don't ever look for money. It's the biggest mistake in the mind of a human being to look for money. You don't look for money and you don't expect money. Because once you do that, then you have failed miserably on the pyramid of wealth. Because the pyramid of wealth says that the first thing to look for is have integrity and loyalty. But you can't get integrity and loyalty unless you acquire special readings and knowledge from the Word of God. It doesn't matter. The Word of God here is not being seen as a religious book or a spiritual book. It's being seen as a revelational book. So it doesn't matter whether the person is atheist, agnostics. Okay? I've had atheists and agnostics now listen and reading the Word of God, not for a religious purpose, but to understand the ingredients of the supernatural mind. Knowledge. Hosea chapter 4 verse 6 says, a lack of knowledge, my people what? They perish. Now, they perish doesn't mean they are dying physically, but they are perishing. They are dying in their income. They are dying in their marriage. They are dying in their health. They are dying in several aspects of their life. They are always acting like in need because they don't have what? Knowledge. Now, why is that so? And let's go back to the beginning. Because money is a slave to value creation. You and I, if we actually make a car that can fly today, if we make a car that flies, we don't have to go and do advert. Why? Because the thing is that people will see the car flying in the air in East Legon or Cantonment or London, and they will ask, how do I get one? You see, you didn't chase money. What did you do? You created value. And because we created value, what's going to happen? Money will look for us. They will look for us now. Because what's happening is that they see us fly in the air, we are avoiding traffic, and they are just on top of them. So they will easily notice us. Money will look for you. You didn't look for money. Money now looks for you because you have created what? Value. That's the first principle. Second, you cannot create a value unless you have acquired knowledge. But how can you acquire knowledge? It's not in the classroom. In fact, research shows that classroom knowledge, whether it's from primary to the university, classroom knowledge is only made up of 14% of the total knowledge a person should have. Classroom knowledge. According to the Harvard Business Review, 82% of the information university students learn in the university are not used in real life. According to the Global Mentors Review, 42% of university graduates never pick a book and read ever again in their life. 42%. Why? Because of the way the educational system has been done, it makes it even difficult to pick a book again and read. So knowledge that we are talking about is not classroom knowledge. There are special books you get here that will expand the capacity of your mind. The knowledge we are talking about includes observational knowledge. Observational knowledge and revelational knowledge. I've told you one of the revelational knowledge is just taken to the Word of God, because the Word of God has over 500 scriptures that helps a person to improve his mind, just improve the mind. It's a powerful book. So money is nothing, but knowledge is infinite. Money is finite. House. Sometimes somebody say, but I'm not begging for food. Oh, the bears also don't beg for food. The crocodile does not beg for food. The lion doesn't beg for food. So when you are not begging for food, it is nothing new. Somebody says, I'm leaving my own house. Again, that is an external factor. A bear lives in his own house, nest. The crocodile lives in his own river. Okay, the lion lives in his own house. So having a house, having a car, these things are peripheral. They are not the most significant aspect. You see, the only difference between we and animals is that we have the capacity to learn. We, human beings, have the capacity to learn. Animals don't have. And that is the differentiator. And so when a person is not striving to acquire knowledge, like Proverbs chapter 15, verse 14 will say, that person is going to perish, according to Hosea 4:6. In fact, that is why King Solomon, instead of going for money and riches, he rather went for knowledge and wisdom at a tender age. He became so knowledgeable and wise that the Queen of Sheba came to verify not his wealth, but his not his money, but his knowledge, his wisdom. He was so powerful in knowledge. That's why 1 Timothy 6 says, those who are determined to be rich will starve themselves. But Proverbs 1:7 said, those who are determined to be knowledgeable will save their lives. See, ladies and gentlemen, when you acquire knowledge, you can easily create value. And when I say create value, I don't mean a physical thing necessarily. Okay? Bill Gates has created value, the computer. Jeff Bezos, the richest man on the earth, has created value, Amazon. Mark Zuckerberg has created value, Facebook. But you can also create value by giving knowledge to people, okay, speaking to people. And so your value is the ability to improve the life of a person. And that will generate more income to you. Like I said, value commands income. Income follows value creation. And so it's very important that when a person is beginning to join us, the person must be willing, ladies and gentlemen, to learn. Without that, don't join us. Without that, don't join us. It's not about quantity, it's about quality. And so when the books are given, there are several books that have indicated the word of God. Another book you read is called The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. And this book helps us to be able to know that anybody can achieve his personal legend, provided he is willing to go through the suffering. And the suffering is more important. What you become in the process of acquiring $1 million is more important than winning the lottery of $1 million. Let me explain. Suppose you meet two people, each one of them is having $1 million. It took one of them just today to win a lottery of $1 million. It took the other guy 10 years working hard to now be $1 million. Which of them would you want to be? I'm telling you, go tell the world. Some of them will tell you, Master, $1 million, no, that's the one I want. Such a person has a myopic mindset because the person has not become. I was talking to a gentleman, a millionaire in the UK at KFC. He was in a Lamborghini and I asked him, wow, it looks like you're living the dream. He says, no. He won a lottery. Like joke, as he kept telling me, he told me that the day he went for his £1 million, they put him into a room to watch videos of people who have won before him. And interestingly, out of the 8 videos he watched, all of them who had £1 million, by 1 to 3 years, they were now broke more than before, the time they actually became the millionaires. Why? They have not grown to the capacity of the income. If I give you $1 million today and you've not worked for it, within a year, you squander the money. It doesn't matter. Your capacity, your brain capacity cannot absorb. And this thing is difficult. Some people might think it's easy. It's not easy. I'll give you another example. Let's say a child is 4 years. You are trying to teach that child 28 times 452. The child will not be able to calculate it. No matter how many times you try to explain to the child cannot contain that understanding. Why? You might say because he's young. No. It's because the child has not developed the capacity of his brain. The child has not developed the capacity of the mind. But hang on a minute. Another person who is 44 years old can also feel that same thing. I'm just using this mathematics as an example. It can be anything in life. Another person can be 40 years, will still not be able to calculate that. Why? It's not because of age. It's because that person too has not developed the capacity of his brain. So age is irrelevant. What is relevant is how you grow the mind. You see, the mind can grow, but you got to push it. It's not about reading scientific quantum mechanics books. It's about reading these. There are 180 books that you will read over your lifetime when you join us. Okay. Another book you will read is known as The Richest Man in Babylon. It is a powerful book that helps a person to be wealthy before he knows. Ladies and gentlemen, when I say wealth, I'm not talking about money. Wealth is made up of integrity, loyalty, knowledge, wisdom, service, creativity, values, virtues, impact, and purpose. Wealth is bigger. That is why everything, see, when you see the car being driven by somebody, that car is coming from the ground. They use something from the ground to make the car, which is wealth. The house is irrelevant. It is what made the house from the ground, the clay and all of those things from the ground, that made the car. This is wealth. That is why paradise, people are able to build and live a wonderful life, because that is like wealth. The point is this: knowledge begets knowledge. And so it's very important for us to acquire more knowledge that is here. There's a book by Daniel Pink. It's known as Drive. That book says that if money is the main reason why you are going to work from Monday to Friday, you have already failed in life. Daniel Pink, Drive. It says if money is the main, and a lot of people will say that to you that, oh, they are not looking for money. They are not working because of money. Who told you they are not working because of money? Many people are working because of money. If their employer says that I'm not going to pay you for the next 2 years, you think they will go to work again? Professors of university are on demonstrations, agitating for an increase in wage because their income is not up to $1,000. Professors, repositories of knowledge. Remember what I said? Money is a slave to value creation. So if a person is complaining about money, it means that person is lacking what? Value creation. The person has not created value. And if the person has not created value, it means that the person does not have enough knowledge. And if that person is transferring that knowledge to your children and to your other students, when he doesn't have enough knowledge, then it means that we are producing a whole 1 ton of people. The thing is that academic knowledge is just a microcosm. It's just a small part of the bigger knowledge one should acquire. That is why many people who are succeeding in this world, okay, generally are not succeeding because of academic excellence. The businessmen and women are the movers and shakers of the economy. Kwame Despite is not a professor. Coco King is not a doctor. Kennedy Japan is not a professor. Dangote is not a professor. Bill Gates is Harvard, the most successful dropout. Mark Zuckerberg is a second Harvard most successful dropout. See, the thing is that once you understand that the knowledge we are talking about goes beyond academic excellence, this is where the mind begins to open. And so we need to be able to acquire these knowledge from these books. And we have learning, training. You see, when there's a training that is organized, a person must attend, like this that we are having the presentation, the person must attend them. Ladies and gentlemen, when we attend the presentations, it expands the capacity of our mind though. When we take notes, we are able to present it next time in our own way because we are learning. Until you learn, don't ever think about money. It's the principle, it's a law. It's like gravity. People are doing it the wrong way. Oh, they are doing the wrong way. Why are you looking for money? Money, you shouldn't look for it. It will come to you. Go get knowledge. Go get knowledge. Go get knowledge. Go get knowledge. Income will be an abundant blessing in your life. Why are you worrying yourself? Why are you chasing? That's why you're chasing. That's why it's vanity. Acquire knowledge. Acquire knowledge, wisdom. And I'm telling you, income will flow to your doorsteps. If you don't know how and where to acquire them, we are here. Ask us. I've just given you some of the books. Tip of the iceberg. There's a book called Biology. It's another book. B-U-Y, and then Ology. It's a powerful book. Ladies and gentlemen, the poverty of the mind has nothing to do with the money. Our biology is the same. We were all born equal. It is our psychology that is changing. Until we alter the perspective of our mind, our thoughts, we cannot alter the perspective of our life. Let me just share something you already know. You know, the scripture in Matthew chapter 5, verse 28 says, if a man continues to look at a woman so as to have a passion for him, he has already committed adultery. Remember that scripture, Matthew 5, 28? Now, where was adultery committed? Did he actually physically pounce on the woman? No. So where was it? In the mind. Before it went into the heart, it was committed in the mind. So your mind is a human being. You can use your mind to create the Burj Khalifa. Your mind is big. The human mind is the most unexplored continent on earth. Don't joke with that mind. You're going to increase the capacity of the brain, of the thought of the brain. And so if I can think and actually commit adultery in the mind, then, and I know that is not correct, then it means I can listen, please listen. It means I can think and actually do something great in the mind. What is that? I can create value in the mind. I can actually become a millionaire in the mind. I can become a wealthier, a billionaire in the mind before it manifests. It happens in the mind before it happens outside of the mind. That is why there's an African proverb that says that if there is no enemy within, the enemy outside can do you no harm. So the enemy is within. Our problems are within. You don't have money problem. You have knowledge problem. Because when you solve that knowledge problem, the thought process, the synapses, the cerebellum, see, when you look at the left side of the brain and the right side of the brain, one portion of the brain is very creative. The other portion of the brain is very philosophical and logical. Once you are able to harness the potential of the brain, if the Burj Khalifa, which is in Dubai, the tallest building in the world, if it collapses today, would they be able to build another one? Yes, because it was already built where? In their mind. And that place is full of sand, almost 70% sand. Look at places in Africa, we have a lot of clay, and yet we are not been able to build the tallest building like that. Why? Because it's not in the mind. And so we need to be able to expand the mind, When in the world of neuroplasticity and neuroscience, once you learn, you see, when somebody say, read the book, understand the book, meditate on the book, think like the book. When you are told to do that, you don't understand, but it's going to expand your mind. It's going to happen. It's happening without knowing. It is a reflex activity. It's a reflex action. It's happening. Your mind is expanding. Your mind is expanding. You're able to see things clearer. You're able to predict the future before it happens. That is why Jeff Bezos, 2001, was being interviewed by CNBC, and he was able to predict that he will be able to go to space. The audience were laughing at him, but 20 years down the line, he just went to space about a month ago. 10 minutes, he was in space. Why? He saw it in his mind before it happened. And so if you can see it in your mind, you can feel it in your hand. That is why Jesus was doing that warning. The mind can commit greater things or bad things if you allow it. And so if a person is not ready to learn here, ladies and gentlemen, please don't join us. Don't join us at all, because we are learners. Never put titles on your name. I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm a professor. Because once you do that, it limits you from, see, let me ask you, can you become an astronaut? Can you become an astronaut? Absolutely. If you learn. Now, once you're an astronaut, can you at the same time become a medical doctor? Yes, of course. How? If you learn. Now listen, can you become a millionaire? Absolutely. How? If you learn. Oh, hang on. So you mean that if you learn to become a millionaire, you can become a millionaire. So why are we not learning? Why is it that somebody just wants to become a millionaire and not want to learn? Come on, you got to learn. You got to model your life. You got to have a guidance, a mentor, somebody who will guide you in the capacity in which you have to go. That is why when a person joins us, it's very important for the person to be willing to absorb information, to expand the capacity of your mind, so that the world would want to know what is in your head. When you do that, you won't beg people to join you. They will join you. You won't look for money. Money will look for you, because your capacity is bigger. But the reason why a lot of people are fighting on Monday morning, people are rushing, is because they don't have anything themselves for people to come to them. And so they are rushing to people to collect, to do, okay? But ladies and gentlemen, please commit yourself to learning. Don't just rush and say, I've read it. Attend trainings like this, attend workshops like this, don't ever miss these things. I'm telling you, when you do that, you will never look for income. Income will come to you. And remember, this business is not the only way that one can make income. You will be able to get the learning we are going to teach you here and do it in other areas of your life. You can go into real estate. You can go into other areas. This is not the only thing. The point is that you will become an expert in all of those areas as well. You will learn how to use a simple, see, did you know, for example, that if a person is making just 2,000 Ghana cedis, by 20 years, a person can become a millionaire, even when you are consuming half of the money. Did you know? It's knowledge. It's knowledge. Did you know that if a person is earning 3,000 cedis, which is approximately $700, okay? If a person is earning some income like that, okay, did you know that that person by 15 years will become a millionaire? Learn, expand the mind, and the world will look for you. So those are the books. Like I said, there are several books that you'll be reading in the course. It's not just the books. There'll be audios, videos, okay? There'll be trainings, there'll be workshops that we'll be doing. On Saturday, we have some. Put yourself into this. Sit down, learn this, take a pen and paper, absorb this information into your mental equilibrium. I'm telling you, this is wealth. There's nothing more. This is wealth. Because once you're able to do this thing that I'm doing, once you're able to speak and educate people the way I'm doing, your wealth will begin to come. You will not tell somebody to take an action. He will take an action because of how you've trained the person. I'm telling you that money is the last thing to look for on the pyramid. Right? Go for knowledge and money will flow you like a bucket. So how does it start? First thing to do is to buy the ribosome. You can take the personal pack, which is 799 Ghana cedis. It's made up of 3 items. Don't worry about what are the nitty-gritties of those 3 items. Use it. Use the ribosome yourself. You will save your life. You will get energized mentally, physically, emotionally, sexually. This is about $132. If you want to go for the bigger pack, you choose any of the bigger packs. But the key point is that buy one of the packs. Use it. Then every month you are entitled to do the following. Again, remember the focus is not going to be on the earning. You will earn. As for the income, you will earn. But let that be the last thing you should be your worry. The most important thing that should be your worry is the knowledge. Okay, so every month, each one of us will be entitled to buy 599 Ghana cedis, about $100 every month. You use some of the income you'll be earning. You will be earning, yes. You use some of the income you'll be earning to do the buy. But again, if money is your problem, then you have no money problem. Ladies and gentlemen, if money is your problem is not the money. Your problem is the knowledge. If you have money problem, it means you have knowledge problem in the first place. So focus on the learning, then income will come. Then what you do is that you try and speak to a few people. Exactly what to speak to them. We do trainings about them. Come and learn. Come and learn. On Friday, we do trainings on them. Come and learn how to do it. You'll get some of the information on the WhatsApp group. Come and learn. We will teach you how you can present the information without selling the product. That is not the focus. I keep saying the focus is to build people and not to be selling products. But you can't build people when you don't know what you're going to use to build them. That's why you need to learn in the first place. So you bring people to come and also learn, gain health, and then actually make income. Now, let me tell us something about wealth. I want to ask a question, and please put the answer down in the chat for me, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Will you do anything to get wealthy? I just want yes or no. Will you do anything underline to get wealthy? Anything, and I mean anything, to get wealthy. I need a yes or no answer. Please put it down for me. Will you do anything at all to get wealthy? Will you do anything to get wealthy? I need a yes or no, ladies and gentlemen. I want to use this to build something in our mind cortex. Okay? Please type the answer for me. It's very important. Will you do anything to get wealthy? Will you do anything at all to get wealthy? Will you do anything to get wealthy? Ladies and gentlemen, some of you are not typing. Please look in the chat room and type it for me. I want to be sure, okay? Will you do anything to get wealthy? So majority of you are indicating yes, and few of you are indicating no, okay? So ladies and gentlemen, when our concept, okay, the etymology and the morphologies of words and how we have been brought up is what would define the way we think. And please listen. Wealth comes from the root word well, well-being or welfare. Wealth has nothing to do ordinarily with money. In fact, money is the last thing that wealth is about. Wealth encompasses knowledge, wisdom, integrity, loyalty, purpose, service, sacrifice, virtue, creativity, values. That is wealth. Oh, that is wealth. But the reason why a person will say, I will not do anything to get wealthy is because the person's mind is that wealth is about money. Let me ask you a question. Those of you who said no, only you are the ones to answer this. Will you do anything to get salvation? Those of you who said no, will you do anything to get salvation? Those of you who said no, will you do anything, yes or no? Will you do anything to get salvation? Will you do anything to get salvation? Okay, and I can see that some of you are now using the yes. And the reason is because, yes, you will do anything to get salvation. You know why? Because you know salvation will not require you to go and kill. Salvation will not require you to go and kill. Salvation will not require you to be fraudulent. Salvation will not require you to do anything bad. So yes, you will do anything to get salvation because you know that that anything will be good. You see, it's because you have an understanding of what salvation is. That is why you said what? Yes, this time. Now, but when you don't have a proper perspective or understanding of wealth, okay, somebody should read Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 18. Okay. Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 18. When you read it, you will see something interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, when it comes to wealth. Okay. Let me see what I can get that for you. Okay. Deuteronomy chapter 8. Verse 18. You see, it's very important for us, a person. I just want to quickly pick it from King James. But you shall remember the Lord your God, for it is he that giveth the power to get wealth. Now listen carefully. That God gives the power to get what? To get wealth, whether you can see it. Wealth. God gives the power to get wealth. Wealth includes loyalty, integrity, okay, knowledge, wisdom, and the last thing is what? Money. So wealth is not just about money. So this exercise is just to help us to have an understanding that when we speak, you can be wealthy, but we need to learn because God even blesses a person to have that. King Solomon was wealthy because he acquired lots of knowledge, integrity, wisdom. But of course, you can abuse it as well. So these are the things that a person will be able to learn and to be able to acquire. So once you have these, you will be able to. So the good thing is to be bringing people to come and enjoy the knowledge, enjoy the health, and enjoy the wealth. When that is your focus and you sacrifice for people, I'm telling you, income will always be in your bucket. So first get the knowledge, then talk to a few people. If you can't talk to them, bring them here. We will talk to them for you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a get rich quick money. If that is your goal, don't join us. If you want it quickly without even learning, you have already failed. But if you do that, weekly you'll be paid and monthly you'll be paid. The details of all of these payments, when you have joined, you see all of the documentation that explains all that. Weekly you'll be paid, monthly you'll be paid. We have people here, some are making $500 a month, some are making $1,000 a month, some are making $2,000 a month. There are some here who are making $8,000, $5,000, $15,000 a month, because they have acquired knowledge, so the income will come automatically when they are able to now spread people. So whoever has invited you here has given you a gift. But before you go, ladies and gentlemen, I want to emphasize on some important 3 steps to be able to do this business well. 3 steps. It is very important. Please note them down. It takes a wealthy man to serve. I want to repeat that. Poor people look for cash. Rich people look for knowledge. Poor people look for cash. Rich people look for knowledge. This is a fact. Okay? A rich person will pay every amount of money to engage in his own self-development. By a poor person, will not do that. A poor person will always be looking for money because he thinks that that is going to solve his problem. But he will always have money problem. Why? Because he has not understood the power of knowledge. A rich people will pay everything to get knowledge. So once you have acquired knowledge, you cannot remain where you are. You have to serve people. What does that mean? Acts chapter 20, verse 35 says there's more happiness in giving than in receiving. You can never maintain, one-on-one. There's something we call wealth acquisition. You can acquire the wealth, but you can't maintain it if you don't serve people. I want to repeat that, ladies and gentlemen. Please note that down. You cannot maintain the wealth, continue to gain the wealth, if you are not willing to serve people. So when you join us, be willing to serve. What are some of the things you do? You have to post messages on the group page. It's one of the service. You have to share the link to people on the group page. It's one of the service. Every day you share 3 information on the group page. It's a service. If you're not willing to do that service, forget it. You will not make it. You even be sad. Okay? Because the greatness of a man is his ability to serve people. Check the Bible, check the scriptures, check the word. Look at Nelson Mandela. He served his people. 27 years of solitary confinement. Look at Margaret Thatcher. He served. If you want to be great, wealthy, a man of integrity, loyalty, knowledge, wisdom, serve, sacrifice, die. Jesus did it. He had to eventually even serve to the point of dying. That is greatness. That is wealth. It requires you to sacrifice yourself. That is the giving part. That Acts chapter 20 was talking about. Is the giving. That giving means giving your life. So if you're not willing to talk on the page, serve people, give people information, give people scriptures to learn, give people knowledge to learn, give people information to acquire knowledge to learn. If you are not willing to do that for people, ladies and gentlemen, you have failed. It doesn't work like that. The forces of gravity will not allow that to happen to you, to be great. It's not possible, ladies and gentlemen. It's not possible. So a lot of people want to have everything for free. It's not true. Why would God allow his own great son to come and die now? His son, his very son. Remember, God is a supernatural God. He can stop the pain of Jesus now. But why would he allow his own son, Jesus, to go through pain like that? Super. Oh, because they understand that to be wealthy, you need to sacrifice. That to be great, you need to sacrifice. Greatness is born out of adversity. Put that down. Put that down, please. Greatness is born out of adversity. When I say put that down, I want you to put it down so that next time you can use it also in your own language. So that is the first thing to do. You cannot succeed in this business if you are not willing to serve. Second, follow the process of knowledge. You cannot do well in this business if you don't have things in your mind and in your hand. Follow the process of knowledge. There's levels of knowledge. There is a process. Okay, put this down. The first process of knowledge is called learning knowledge. You know what learning knowledge is? Learning knowledge is where you practice, where your practice creates theories, and the theories create practice. So you go, this is what you're having here. You go for lectures and trainings like this, you take notes. You document the processes of the principles. You study to learn before you practice to teach. You accelerate the result by getting the people that you are bringing on board to do what you are doing, to also learn. In fact, you can't skip a test. The moment you skip one step, you will have an illusion of speed. So then when you are given an instruction, we learn it. We take it like a child. You know, when a child is ready to learn. That is what Jesus says, that if you are not humble like these children, you will not enter the kingdom of God. Because children just take advice. They are teachable. So the first knowledge process is called learning knowledge. When you give a responsibility, you give it to a son. But when you give a child, you give a child an instruction. So be a child. That's the first thing. The second is activity knowledge. You see, activity knowledge means that you are not going to get it all right now. You can't get it right now until you do the thing. So you will learn that you need to prospect people. You are learning that you need to talk to people. But you got to actually be on the field to talk to people before that will work. This is activity knowledge. So in activity knowledge, you are practicing the knowledge you have acquired. It shows whether you understand what you have learned or you don't understand. That's activity knowledge. You see, ladies and gentlemen, intelligence is mental capacity to explain a thought. That's intelligence. The mental capacity to explain a thought. But discipline, discipline is a set of instructions to carry out or doing what you have learned. That is discipline. So when you check most people who are really doing well in life, they are very disciplined. It is knowing good from bad. That is discipline. That is why we always say this. A child needs a father. An adolescent needs a friend. An adult needs a mentor. Please put that down. You need it one day. A child needs a father. An adolescent needs a friend. An adult needs a mentor. So what this business is not just, networking. No, it is life. You can't resist it. You can't resist it. You got to learn it, because what you resist persists. My mentor taught me that. What you resist persists. When you're resisting poverty, poverty will chase you. You don't resist poverty. You rather go to wealth creation, and poverty will leave you. But when you try to resist, it will persist. A child needs a father. An adolescent needs a friend. An adult needs a mentor. That's activity knowledge. The third level of knowledge is called modeling knowledge. Modeling. You see, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of people don't do model. And these things I'm talking about, the universities only do the first one, learning knowledge. Now, let me tell you about modeling knowledge. Now, this is a relationship kind of knowledge acquisition. In the relationship of modeling knowledge, disciplines are formed. Disciplines are formed. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know what is ego? Ego. And it's always good to define things as you learn, because as you learn things and you define things, you become a dictionary of yourself. Always get the etymology of words and get the morphology of words. And this is not academic. I'm not teaching you academic. I'm helping you to come to appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, always get the etymology and the morphology of words. Somebody should write it there in the chat. All right, etymology and the morphology. What is etymology? Etymology is the history of a word. The morphology is the study of the words that came together to form that word. So etymology is the history of a word. So when you get a word like go, what is the etymology of that word and what is the morphology? The morphology is the study of the words that came together to form that word. So when you get words like development, development, okay, there are key words. The words can be broken down to know the words that came together. There are three things that will inhibit learning. A lot of people don't like to do learning. They don't want to do modeling, okay? There are three things that will prevent them to do that. The first one is ego. That's why I asked whether you know ego. Ego is an overinflated self-importance. That is ego. A person who has ego will no longer be willing to take instruction and model the knowledge his mentor is teaching him. Such a person would use his effort and he will always be struggling. It's not working, but he doesn't want to follow the model. What is a model? A model is a representation of reality. So instead of manipulating an aeroplane, I can go and take a small box of aeroplane and manipulate it. That's a model. It's a representation of reality. Somebody who doesn't want to learn has an ego, overinflated self-importance. Now, ego is different from arrogance. Arrogance is when you think you can't learn anything from anyone else. I know everything. That is arrogance. The devil is out there. Blaming outsiders for what you didn't do right. And this is why a lot of people don't do well in life, because they are not willing to learn. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have a private jet, okay, you have a private jet, but that private jet is not adding value to anyone, then it means that that private jet is not important. So, in the modeling knowledge, you need to follow what that person is teaching you. In the process, you are acquiring something we call wisdom. What is wisdom? Wisdom. Wisdom is application of knowledge. So through self-reflection, through the experience of following the mentor, you are able to do later what that person was doing. You need a mentor. I need a mentor. I am a doctor, a professor, and so what? I need a mentor. And so I need to model somebody whom I can learn from. The best way to get wisdom is through mentorship. Trust me. The best way to get wisdom is through mentorship. That is why a lot of people go to university. They do the first one, learning knowledge, and they are not wise. They are not wise because they didn't get what? Mentorship. To be able to be an expert in anything, you need a mentor. Sometimes multiple mentors. It is the province of knowledge to speak, and it is a privilege of wisdom to listen. Please put that down. That is why I say that you can only be wise through mentorship. It is a province of knowledge to speak, and it is a privilege of wisdom to listen. That was a statement that was once upon a time said by Oliver Holmes. So the word schooling is different from educational. Education is a progressive discovery of our ignorance. That is education. Progressive discovery of our ignorance. That's not what happens in the universities. In the university, they are schooling, they are not educating. Because once you become educated, it should remove ego. Because you begin to realize that you don't know anything. You begin to realize that you are ignorant of a lot of things. Because progressively you are learning, but you are learning and realizing that you don't know. You are educated from educeras, the Latin meaning of the root word. Discipline, knowledge, education, all of these things guarantee results. And in the process of doing this, sometimes your mentor will say things you don't like, but your suffering becomes an inspiration after you have succeeded. Your suffering becomes an inspiration to you, others. After you succeed and you've reached the rank, then people begin to say, wow. They don't know what you went through. You went through modeling. Ladies and gentlemen, the word discipline is not negative. A lot of people think it's negative. Discipline is a mental regulation of a person's activity by following an educated result, okay, in a way that punishes the mind. So I've spoken about learning knowledge. I've spoken about activity knowledge. And I've spoken about modeling knowledge. Now the last one. The last one is known as teaching knowledge. A lot of people have not learned. They have not done the activity knowledge. They've not done the modeling, and they want to teach. Hey, please put this down. Study to learn, but practice before you teach. It's a powerful thing. Study to learn, but practice before you teach. Until you practice, by going through the modeling process. You cannot go and teach somebody. And so the reason why a lot of people are not able to do the teaching in this business properly is because they have not learned and they've not modeled. And so it becomes difficult to teach. And even if they teach haphazardly. Study to learn, but practice before you teach. Please note this. By the time you are teaching, you have value. Do you know that? By the time you are teaching something, you have value. I'm not looking at anything. I'm speaking from my head because I have learned, I have used it, I've taught it, and I'm now transferring. You will do that when you follow the guideline. I'm following somebody. You can follow somebody to do well. That means you have value. When you have value, and ladies and gentlemen, you don't chase money. You command your own reward. And that's an important thing. Put that down. Value commands its own reward. Value will command its own reward. And so if you are struggling to get people into this business, check your value level. If you are struggling to get people connected to you, and that is going to lead to my last thing. If you are struggling to get people, check your level of value. It means that they don't see you valuable enough to be in your space. And so you need to be able to absorb those levels of knowledge, these processes of knowledge, so that you can now be able to go and talk to. Anytime you are talking to somebody about this project, the person will look at the value you are bringing to him. And if the person does not see that value oozing out of you, the person will not see any need. And so that is why you and I, we have to sit down and throw away ego, overinflated self-importance, throw away arrogance. When you think you can't learn anything from anyone else, okay, we throw away all of that, and then we humble ourselves. We become teachable. And when we do that, you'll be able to acquire. Mentors will give you everything in their heart. And once you have that everything, go and show off by teaching others. And you will not struggle to get people because your value will command its own reward. And that is a powerful thing that a lot of people are supposed to have. Now, let's go to the last thing that we have to do. To be able to succeed, this is a network of business. Ladies and gentlemen, some people don't know that network is in computers. Your brain is full of networks. Neurons and synapses are going through your brain. It's a network of people. Sometimes when you go to a bank, you see people are seated there behind boxes, behind desks with a glass in between them. It's a network of interconnections of people. There is no way, and this is very important, what I'm going to say last is crucial. There is no way a person will be able to better succeed in this business without having a network of people. You need a network of people. Let me tell you, there are 4 ways of building networks. 4 ways. There are 4 possibilities of becoming wealthy. There are 4 possibilities of becoming wealthy. 1, marry in a wealthy family. If you're already married, you have missed that. You marry in a wealthy family, okay? That is one way you can become wealthy. Or you get an inherited wealth. Some of us, we know whether that thing will do anything. Or you go to any of the Ivy League schools, like Harvard, MIT, Stanford. Okay? The last one is called networking. You see, when you have take somebody like Kwame Sefa-Kind, the journalist. Bill Gates doesn't know you and doesn't know me. But if Bill Gates should step in Accra Kotoka International Airport, a lot of people will go there. Why? He has built networks. So ladies and gentlemen, we need to build networks. But you can't build network. You build network by mentorship. It is for the middle class of people. The rich people already have their networks. It is a middle class who build networks. Now, there's a way I will show you, those of us here, we will later learn on how to build networks. But our industry is network marketing. And a lot of people miss it. All they do is a marketing. They do the marketing. They do the marketing. This is wrong. They don't do networking. Ladies and gentlemen, please note, you can make a lot of income from networking alone. Just networking alone. There are skills to developing networking, but that comes after learning. Networking alone, in fact, There are several people who are multi-millionaires from networking alone. But a lot of people don't do networking. They want to do marketing, selling. I don't do that. I don't do that. Why? Because once you have learned the skills of networking, you don't have to even do marketing. It will come by itself. You don't even have to do it. And that is the critical fact. See, the network, for you to be able to build network, you need to have value. We all need to have value here. And once you have the value, you can build a series of networks. And one way you do that is easy. You will use social media to be doing that, but you can use personal endeavor. Many of us many people went to worship today. You went to churches, you met a lot of people, but you don't know what to say because the value is not there. See, ladies and gentlemen, when I ask you, what is phantasmagoria? What is phantasmagoria? For somebody, he has to Google it or look for a dictionary before he can find it. Because when the person searches his brain and he gets into his brain wires and the network there, the archives, as he searches through the archives, there's nothing he can find though. Because there's nothing there. You see, what happens is that the human mind searches through the archives of the brain to be able to find out an answer. And so when the archives are not there, when the information is not there, no matter how many hours of time you look for it, you don't find it in the brain. Why? Because you didn't put it there in the first place. There are inputs into the brain and there are outputs. And so when a person is speaking, you see the words that are coming out of my mouth, they are coming probably faster, because the information content is a reflex of my brain. The sound that comes out of my mouth are the thought processes of my synapses and my neurons. Once you've been able to learn that and you speak, people will gravitate towards you. That is why we need to romance knowledge, create a room in our house and get that place. It's not about TV, nothing. You eat up knowledge. Have an intercourse and masturbation with knowledge. You get pregnant with thoughts. And when you open your mouth, people will gravitate towards you. I'm telling you, whatever you tell them to do, they will listen because they see possession of knowledge coming out of you. So don't do marketing. Start building networks. Build networks. And how can you build networks? Okay? There are books that you read. There are only 6 books. Only 6 books in the world that you read. I'll give you some of them. Okay, not today, we'll do it in our next training. But the key point in summary is this. You cannot do this business effectively if you're not willing to serve. You cannot do this business effectively if you're not willing to learn all the 4 processes of learning. Ladies and gentlemen, it is all of them. Learning knowledge, activity knowledge, modeling knowledge before teaching knowledge. It is at the time of the teaching knowledge that people will now come towards you. And then understand what is contained inside the network. Once we do this, every single thing will begin to work positively in our favor. There are 2 categories of people who listen to me today. There are 2 categories of people, okay, who listen to me today. Those who heard it and those who listened to it. Some people heard. Others listen. What is the difference? Hearing is your bodily ability to observe and perceive sound as stimuli. Okay, so whilst I'm doing it, you guys can see, can hear me, you can observe this, perceive the sound. But somebody is probably cooking. The person is probably pressing the mobile phone. The person is probably sleeping. Okay, and the sound are just coming like that. But listening is a mental capacity to record the sound and to pay attention to it. Listening is a mental capacity to record the sound. So somebody is hearing me, another is, see, hearing is physiological. Listening is psychological. If you have learned anything at all, okay, you will be able to now put some of those things in. Until what you hear becomes picture, you can't practice it. And so we need to be able to learn by hearing and listening. That's why our team members who register, we need to bring them to workshops and seminars and trainings like this. Let them listen. Hearing is by accident. Hearing is effortless. Hearing is involuntary, but listening is focused. Listening is intentional, it's deliberate, it's voluntary. And so each time a person is properly listening, the person is automatically making notes. In our next learning capacity on Wednesday, we are going to look at the 3 levels of knowledge. And that will help us. Ladies and gentlemen, keep learning. Don't worry about the money. Don't worry. I'm telling you, don't worry. I'm telling you, many people will drop. Now that we are focusing on knowledge acquisition, many will drop along the way. Many will be bored. Many will be angry. Many will be tired. They will leave the WhatsApp group page. They will leave the training page here. And that is great because now we are separating the chaff from the real. But those of us who will stay and acquire the learning process, I'm telling you, by 2 years' time, you will be making the millions. For me, I see the way and I'm going through it. I have the mentor and I'm going through it. But please, remember that we are going to be doing a lot of learning. So please, each time you come for the programs, have pen and paper. Document the information. Don't just listen. Have a book, write them down. Have a book, write them down. Have a book, write them down. It will shape your mind. And it's not going to help you only in this business. It's going to help you in even any other business you do. It will help you in the way, when you talk, without you knowing, the information that are coming out of you are as a result of the thought processes you have acquired. The information you have acquired, that is what is popping out the West. So without you knowing, people will say, wow, how is he talking like that? His speech has changed. He's beginning to sound like this. I'm beginning to like what he's saying. People begin to recognize the information you are bringing out because your thought process, see, words are as a result of thought process. So sometimes you see that somebody is trying to put the words together. It's not because it's called the archives in the information of the brain. The archive is not there. He searches out there, it's not there. But once you learn, what happens is that you expand the capacity of the brain. Ladies and gentlemen, your brain can produce 10 quadrillions of information in 1 second. Don't underestimate the power of learning. Don't underestimate the power of knowledge. It can pay you your rent, your house, your travel, your aeroplane. Knowledge can buy you all. So from now on, we are going to emphasize on knowledge for the rest of the year. Those who will activate their ribosome for life every month, they should do it. Those who will not, do not. The most important thing is acquire as much knowledge as possible. Because the worst thing to do is not to be coming here. The worst thing to do is your people not coming here to learn. Knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much indeed. Okay, it's been a real pleasure having all of us here. I want to take this opportunity to thank all of you who have been present today.